When a woman like Stephanie Miller sexually exploits you in the workplace, gentlemen, live it up. Live it up.
Thank you, John.
Or it didn't happen, gentlemen. That's all I have to say.
I'm all excited. I'm wearing my Sexy Liberal t-shirt because April 10th, the big 10-year anniversary show is coming up with every celebrity in the history of celebrities that has been involved in the past. Some new ones, some new material. It's all going to be very exciting, right?
Oh, I've been calling in a lot of favors. I've been showing a lot of people a lot of photos they didn't know existed to get them to say yes, Stephanie. It really happened.
There is archival footage that I don't think I've ever seen. The documentary that aired on Current TV, I haven't even seen some of that footage. So I'm excited to see it.
Yeah.
All right. So
I love that you keep talking about this mythic documentary from Current TV, because I think you actually used the DVD of that as a prop in the very first Sexy Liberal show.
I did.
So I know it's in your house.
I did. Doesn't mean I've watched it yet.
Well, Aisha's great. Aisha's fantastic at it.
Aisha Tyler. Yeah, Margaret Cho is going to join us Monday. She of course was one of the Sexy Liberals that toured with us. She gets the prize for I got her video back almost a minute after I asked her for it.
Wow.
Come on. Yeah. She's a huge big name. She's very busy. I was just very touched. It was right. Okay.
She loves you.
All right, Monday she will join us on the show. You know, we're going to talk about these horrible anti-Asian attacks, of which I can't. Yeah. It is excruciating to watch these elderly Asian people being attacked on the street in where is it, John? New York, San Francisco, and it all comes back to Donald Trump thinking, and he still said it at CPAC last week. It did China flu. I like to call it the China flu. I like Kung flu. Yeah. Like, it's not funny. It's anyway.
Oh yeah, but you know what? He says he calls it the China virus, not because he's a stupid racist, but because that's where it originates from. So I'm going to call my MAGA hat my China hat, because that's where it originates from. But the same white people out there who are not upset at the anti-Asian discrimination are the ones who are upset that the estate of Dr. Seuss cares about anti-Asian discrimination. At the same time, they're all clutching their pearls, not because anyone's offended, but because, people want to be nicer. And that's the whole thing about the whole Dr. Seuss thing. I mean, no books were burned. Dr. Seuss was evolved for his time in many ways. And like all of us, he had a ways to go. And his foundation pulled these books because, it's very offensive to Asian people. And like Dr. Seuss, they care about people and they want to be better. But again, we'd rather be upset about a fake potato that keeps his eyes in his butt.
True.
Okay. My point is that they'd rather defend Dr. Seuss than Dr. Fauci. It's just, this is where their party is today. And Joe Biden and Democrats didn't cancel Dr. Seuss, as you just said, their own, the doctors, whatever, the foundation.
The estate.
The estate made the decision because, they realized that the stereotypes were dated and racist. So I don't even understand.
But I love seeing Donald Trump say that you have to get rid of Liz Cheney, get rid of every Republican who voted to hold him accountable. Oh, and counterculture's bad. These cancel culture, these guys invented it. Conservative Christians canceled LGBT people for 1900 years. These folks invented cancel culture, people.
Yeah. By the way, while we're on the subject of China, this is just, it's the typical story. Even though Trump regularly blamed the Chinese Communist Party for the spread of coronavirus, Trump himself helped the Chinese Communist Party spread its propaganda about the disease after he had a phone call with Chinese leader Xi. Trump adopted Chinese Communist talking points about the virus in the early stages of the pandemic as he sought to play down the disease and its potential impact on the American economy. Xi told Trump that that China had the coronavirus outbreak under control, that the virus was not a threat to the outside world, that the virus was sensitive to temperature, therefore would likely go away when the weather got warmer. None of these things was true, but Trump believed them or wanted to believe them enough to start saying them out loud, both internally and otherwise. Anything that any dictator said to him on the phone, John, he just repeated. And then he tries to attack China when, you're the one that applauded how great they were doing and how transparent they were and repeated all their talking points because you thought it helped you, right?
Well, but part of that is because, Donald Trump has a lot of business dealings with China, as does his daughter, getting all these patents. So there's money to be made, and cash is thicker than racism. But part of it also is just that Donald Trump, here's something New Yorkers have known for a long time. He's really stupid. And you have to imagine, like, Mick Mulvaney as chief of staff dealing with Trump on this. Hey, Mick, what's the guy who leads China? She. No, it's a guy. She. It's a man. That's his name. Who? No, who was the last one? Who? Yes. Who is the leader of China? Who's the last guy? I'm not asking the last guy. I want to know the guy now. The guy now is she. Who? That's the last guy. Like, this is the White House for 4 years. We can still embrace the comedy of it because their stupid is always bigger than their evil, Stephanie. It's the
yes.
John, I don't know.
I'm not saying CPAC are Nazis, but their set designer just invaded Poland.
Hey. You know what, Sean? I'm not sure. Do you hear a heavenly choir? I'm not sure it's because my personal comedy Jesus is here, or I just forgot to tack up the pillowcase over.
Your son is.
But
is
I feel like
is
it a coincidence that just angels and my personal comedy Jesus and this light just appears all?
I don't understand.
It's just like, while John Fugelsang's here?
I'm on a Zoom with Stephanie. It's at the time of day when you get Mary Heart lighting. Every day you get the Mary Heart lighting.
But it's you. It's like you bring the heavenly choir and the light. You are the way, the truth, and the life. What?
I don't know, man. You look like Nancy Grace the last 2 years on CNN when she would actually have nighttime shuttle launch as the lighting feature to her. I mean, you're on fire. Stephanie's like made of plutonium right now, folks.
Yes.
Haven't
John.
glow like that
John.
in a long time.
John,
God, you're like white phosphorus.
Let's pretend we're Mormon and do it through this sheet. Come here. Come to me.
I thought you were going to say, let's pretend we're the Pences, but whatever.
Hey.
Okay. Wait, seriously.
True as well.
Sean, can you tape your... Well, take it out. Take your organ out for me. Thank you. Sean, John, I've been saving this for you. The QAnon conspiracy movement is cross-pollinating with evangelical Christianity, and experts on extremism are worried about an increasingly radicalized religious movement. The cult-like conspiracy system and conservative Christianity are influencing one another and creating potentially violent fanatics under the stress of the coronavirus pandemic and the resulting economic fallout. And both movements are angry and bitter over former President Trump's election loss, which they believe was fraudulent. I mean, there is nothing more dangerous, right? With these dangerous conspiracy theories are now being infused with, this is the whole God made Trump president thing, right? I mean,
Well, always. Again, look, it's like we talk about this all the time, and this is sort of what I work on is the right-wing Christians who worship Jesus as a god because they're never going to start following his inconveniently liberal teachings. These are the people who are saying, listen, mister, we don't care if Donald Trump covered up the Khashoggi murder and lied about the murder. We still like him because he's pro-life. Like, he's literally a year ago, he told everyone they love to fill the pews in Easter during a plague. And we know from the Bob Woodward tapes that he knew it was deadly and they'd all die, but he was willing to send them to church to die at the time. Like, we know what we're dealing with here. We know that murder's okay now. And it's fine with them because they're pro some life. And their whole thing is Jesus is not their savior. He's their mascot. And we have an entire generation of white Christians who believe criminalizing abortion rights so you can put doctors and women in jail has anything to do with what the Jewish carpenter talked about in the book. Yeah. And you don't need to believe in any word of the Bible to use it against the fakes and charlatans and riffraff and spiritual mongrels who use it to justify themselves. Christianity is now a cloaking device for douchebaggery. That's their actual religion. Their religion is criminalizing abortion, and they use Jesus as cover. That's the entire...
Talk to me about shamanism. Jacob Shansley, the QAnon shaman, argued this week that he is innocent of the charges against him because he stopped insurrectionists from stealing muffins at the Capitol.
Yes.
He said, my actions on January 6th, I sang a song. That's part of shamanism. It's about creating positive vibrations in the sacred chamber. I also stopped people from stealing and vandalizing that sacred space, the Senate. I actually stopped somebody from stealing muffins out of the break room. Okay, so...
It's almost like men who believe Trump are really stupid and haven't thought things through very well, isn't it? I love the QAnon witch doctor. He said that he was really, really wounded that Trump hasn't like spoken out about him. And I'm like, yeah, you know what else? Squeaky Fromm was really wounded that Manson never visited her in jail, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, this is it. We're going to have the best miniseries of the winter, which is Donald Trump leaving his loyal troops to dangle. Donald Trump is not done anything to support any of the people who are now going to prison because they believe Donald Trump. And meanwhile, who did he pardon? Not his own army. He pardoned Steve Bannon, who was stealing from all of them, MAGAs, with the wall scam. So it's like, Democrats, if y'all can't drive a stake in between this, if Democrats can't drive a wedge into the Republican Civil War, then, you know, then keep the filibuster. It's not going to matter.
I was saying that all this week, John, they can't really, these Republicans can't see this grifter is raising the prices at Trump International for his fake inauguration yesterday.
Well, they know it.
He's asking people at CPAC to just go to donaldtrump.com. That's where you give. He's not going to the Republican Party. You tweeted it's important to cover QAnon shaman and all the rioters pleading for their cult leader to rescue them and being ignored. Remember, MAGA, he pardoned Steve Bannon, as you said, indicted for ripping y'all off with that fake wall scam, but he'll leave you to rot. Hey, send his new PAC a check, which is what he asked for at CPAC. Give to me. Give to the gold. Get to the golden. We didn't even talk about the golden calf yet, but that's
the golden half-wit, the golden half-wit. But last week we talked about this because, I said he's never going to start his own political party. Starting a political party involves work. And the only thing Donald Trump likes less than work is fidelity and portion control. He's not a fan. So work was never going to happen. But the PAC did. So Donald Trump is now actually stealing from Mitch. And this is the beauty of it. Because when he goes up at CPAC and says, donate to my PAC, this is why the head of the NRCC came out this week and said they don't want Trump with any GOP candidates for the midterms. I thought that's kind of early. Why? Because Trump is not out to raise money for them. Trump wants to be seen on Fox News campaigning for them, promoting his PAC. So the money the dupes send him goes right into his bank account. He's now stealing money from McCarthy and McConnell. And guess what they're going to do about it? They're going to grovel before him because they really believe that they need the Trump base so bad that Mike Pence writes this op-ed this week, Stephanie, for the Washington Post, where he's talking about how, their unconstitutional power grab. Like, Mike Pence is now giving a pass to the people who literally tried to murder him by repeating their lie that got 8 Americans killed because he's still willing to grovel for the votes of people who tried to murder him. And that is actually peak Mike Pence. That's what they're all going to do.
What did someone say that if Trump shot Mike Pence on Fifth Avenue, Mike Pence would let him get away with it? I mean, it's insane, this cult. And speaking of the voting rights, which you referred to, sort of, Steve Scalise says every single American should be outraged by this. Democrats just voted to ban voter ID nationwide and force every state to permanently expand mail-in voting. And you said every single racist should be outraged by this. David Duke without the baggage, Scalise. If your party had ideas that would help non-millionaires, you wouldn't need to try year after year to make it harder for U.S. citizens to vote. I mean, I keep saying it, John, it's all they're working on is how to stop people from voting.
That's it. I mean, look, and by the way, David Duke without the baggage is how Steve Scalise described himself years ago. I choose my words carefully. But they realize that their policies won't work in democracy, so they can either change their policies or kill democracy. So when I hear people who support the Electoral College or voter ID or gerrymandering tell me about, election integrity and that the elections are being stolen, I'm like, physician, heal thyself.
Yeah. And finally, you, Matt Gaetz, tweeted, putting Russell Honore in charge of Capitol Security Review is like putting Governor Cuomo in charge of sexual harassment training. You said, and grab him by the pussy wasn't his sexual harassment. It's how Trump hugs his most obedient winged monkeys. Trump defenders get to sit out the Cuomo party. If there was a Republican, we know exactly what they'd be calling all the women who are speaking out. Thank you, John. They run the same play from Trump on down, right?
Yeah.
It's fake news,
listen, I'm talking about
fake
Andrew Cuomo
news,
every night.
lying whores. I'm not going to apologize. I'm not going to resign, right?
Exactly.
I mean, I think the investigation needs to play out, but at least Cuomo seemed like a sincere apology.
I'm sure he feels really bad, yes. But look, Andrew Cuomo's never going to run again, okay? And now we know why he didn't run for president in 2020. I think we know now why. And all Andrew Cuomo can do is move heaven and earth to try to salvage his reputation by helping the state. Right. So we'll see what happens. But the important thing that the right wing needs to know is it's Democrats going after Andrew Cuomo. Lindsey Boylan,
as usual,
and Ron Kim and Patrick Nelson. These Republicans covered for a thug who told everyone to go to church on Easter when he knew it could kill them. Dems eject them, Republicans elect them. If you have ever defended Donald Trump, you can sit the Cuomo party out. You're not invited. You don't have any right to have any opinions on it.
Yep, absolutely. John, I love you. I mean that in a really pure way this week, just to make up for my, speaking of apologies, for my past behavior of sexually harassing you.
I appreciate that. Stephanie, you feeling guilty is enough reward for my heart. Seriously, if you feel bad, that's all I ask for from the world. I'm a Catholic mom that way.
I do also, I also worship your giant brain as well, just so you know.
Well, thank you. It's my third favorite organ. Yeah, it's, you know, I can't wait for the big show on the 11th. I am
10th,
really
April 10th.
The 10th. Oh,
April 10th.
Yeah. Sorry. Oh no, I'm doing a big show on the 11th.
Okay.
Just remember, when God closes a Donald Trump comedy door, he opens a Marjorie Taylor Greene comedy window.
That's right.
It's going to be okay.
That's right.
Yeah.
Love you, John. Love your show on Sirius
Thanks,
XM.
guys.
Love the Sanity Cast.
Yeah, Chris.
No, you're going to have a big guest on the Sanity Cast this weekend.
Jane Lynch joins me on the Sanity Cast for a very special series.
Squee.
I sat down. What's that?
I said squee. I said squee.
Oh, I sat down with some very wonderful friends around the turn of the year to talk about what I'm calling the great unclenching, because we're all releasing that tension in our fists or sphincters or shoulders from 2016. Yeah. And so our first in that series will premiere this weekend on Sanity Cast. And tonight on Tell Me Everything, my interview with one of the greatest rappers alive, one of the greatest political MCs alive, Talib Kweli from Black Star. And he talks about Kanye West. He goes deep on Kanye West with me. And it's really, really fun. So thank you guys. I can't wait to see you soon.
I love you in every form.
Oh, by the way, I'm going to come spend the month of August. I'm spending the month of August in LA with my horrible family. So I can't wait to be back in your patient zero hotbed germ bucket of a studio.
I'm going to clamp myself on your face and not get off for a month. Okay, love you. Bye.
I had you in my face and I couldn't get off for a month. I'll see you guys soon.
All right,
Take
bye.
care.
Thanks.
I don't understand what.